Welcome to Let's Talk About It Media 21. Please like, comment, and subscribe. The other stream, people could not hear me. They just thought this was playing in the background. So like the video as you guys come in. Something strange was going on with the stream too, and there was buttons I could not hit. Okay, so you guys can hear me now. All comments are alleged, period. All comments are alleged, period. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. I knew something was going on when I could not add my disclaimer. So now there's my disclaimer. Let's go ahead and get straight to the news. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the channel. Like, comment as you guys come in.
Let me interrupt you, Vaughn, but please stay on the line. Donald Trump has just posted on his social media platform, Truth Social, the following, quote, "The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you." Again, President Donald Trump just posting on his social media platform news that Charlie Kirk, conservative activist, has died in today's shootings. Vaughn, your reaction.
This is not a good moment for us as America, for our engagement and our ability to have very difficult discussions. This is somebody who was a father, a husband, somebody who I think that we must note at this moment in time, Nicole, was there today on a college campus, inviting people to take a microphone and debate him. And this is somebody who welcomed, you can call it an exchange of thoughts, you can call it a debate, you can call it what you want, but this is somebody who took a microphone today and was shot while on a college campus, engaging in the First Amendment right to be able to speak freely. And he was targeted. And this comes a year after Donald Trump was targeted and nearly killed. This comes a month after Melissa Portman was assassinated in Minnesota.
This is
it's a difficult moment to immediately react to, Nicole. I will say that where we find ourselves as a country here over the last 10 years is one in which the bitter division of our politics has led to a rise in violence. And I just hope and I pray for the loved ones of Charlie Kirk, for the president, for his family, for the vice president, for those in the cabinet, for those aides, for those people at Turning Point USA, for those candidates around the country that campaigned with Charlie Kirk and got to know him. This is on a human level a bad, awful, horrific day for us as American, as a country. And I will say that Charlie engaged with journalists. Charlie was somebody that pushed the envelope of what his political party should be, and we don't know the details and the facts of the shooting, other than Charlie Kirk is no longer with us and has been killed. And Nicole, I'll toss it back to you, other than to just say that this is an administration and not just a movement, but our politics that has been really wrecked today, an extension of what is an increasing politically violent country.
Violence isn't politics. Violence is something else entirely. And I wonder if you think, Chris, that we're capable of dealing with the violence in a moment where our politics is so badly broken.
I think it's going to be a real challenge. And I can give you the history of terrorism as an asymmetric tool in the modern era. Really started in the 1850s with the anarchist movement. And it was replicated because it demonstrated that getting to leaders was possible. And eventually ended with the assassination of the Tsar of Russia, Alexander III, President McKinley. And continue, and they learn from each other. Different groups learn from each other. You look at school shootings, the copycats. People understand that this is possible, and it's something that they want to do themselves. Well, in political violence, if you cannot get to, say, a figure that has a security detail, but there's somebody equally polarizing, he's accessible. That's probably why they went after him instead of maybe some government who might have a security detail. And it remains to be seen. But the other underlying factor is polarization in American society. When the far right defines people on the left and immigrants as invaders and not fellow citizens as the enemy really destroying society, that's problematic. And then on the flip side, people on the left are defining people on the right as the others and fascist, authoritarian, and that's how we're looking at each other. Political violence is inevitable, and my concern is that this is going to become an increasing trend, like we saw at other periods of tumultuous times in the United States.
Like the video, like the video. Fair use, reaction clip.
We are strong. We come back.
Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Let's continue.
We're breaking news to CNN. A source tells CNN that Trump ally and the founder of Turning Points USA, Charlie Kirk, was shot at an event on a college campus in Utah.
And the extent of Kirk's injuries at this point are not immediate.
Utah.
College campuses pushes conservative issues, gets into heated back and forth often with these students on these college campuses. But of course, none of that is violent. This is the first time we've seen this kind of reaction, obviously. So what we know right now, everyone is monitoring the situation. He was shot during this event on this Utah campus, and they are still unclear what exactly the extent of those injuries is. There are a lot of videos circulating right now on social media that are showing the crowds running away after gunshots went off. But again, we are still going through all of this and talking to sources to figure out what exactly happened and how Kirk is doing at this time.
Good afternoon, Anonymous.
David, as we work to confirm some of these videos that are circulating online and we try to get an awareness of the status of Kirk's health, it's important to step back and point out the impact that he's had in recent years on politics, and certainly conservative politics. He's turned this sort of grassroots organization, Turning Points USA, into a juggernaut when it comes to connecting youth conservatives and the conservative agenda on college campuses.
Without a doubt. I mean, first let me say that my prayers are with Charlie Kirk right now, and I'm sure everybody watching feels the same. This is horrific to see what we're seeing here. You couldn't be more spot on, Morris. I can't sort of understand what Charlie Kirk has.
Like the video, like the video. Fair use, reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in.
Eyewitness described they do say they did hear just one shot heard as he was speaking to a crowd, hundreds, thousands there on hand for this. Of course, AP continuing to report he's in critical condition after being shot there in Utah. Of course, videos posted on social media circulating, very disturbing, from Utah Valley University show Kirk's.
So that was them reporting that he was in critical condition, but then unfortunately he has passed.
Eyewitness described the.
Like the video as you guys come in. 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 Thanks for being here, everyone.
On his social media platform, Truth Social, the following, quote, "The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you." Again, President Donald Trump just posting on his social media platform news that Charlie Kirk, conservative activist, has died in today's shootings. Vaughn Hilliard, your reaction?
This is not a good moment for us as America, for our engagement and our ability to have very difficult discussions. This is somebody who was a father, a husband, somebody who I think that we must note at this moment in time, Nicole, was there today on a college campus, inviting people to take a microphone and debate him. And this is somebody who welcomed, you could call it an exchange of thoughts, you can call it a debate, you can call it what you want, but this is somebody who took a microphone today and was shot while on a college campus engaging in the First Amendment right to be able to speak freely. And he was targeted. And this comes a year after Donald Trump was targeted and nearly killed. This comes a month after Melissa Hortman was assassinated in Minnesota. This is it's a difficult moment to immediately react to, Nicole. I will say that where we find ourselves as a country here over the last 10 years is one in which the bitter division of our politics has led to a rise in violence. And I just hope and I pray for the loved ones of Charlie Kirk, for the president, for his family, for the vice president, for those in the cabinet, for those aides, for those people at Turning Point USA, for those candidates around the country that campaigned with Charlie Kirk and got to know him. This is on a human level a bad, awful, horrific day for us as an American, as a country. And I will say that Charlie engaged with journalists. Charlie was somebody that pushed the envelope of what his political party should be. And we don't know the details and the facts of this shooting, other than Charlie Kirk is no longer with us and has been killed. And Nicole, I'll toss it back to you, other than to just say that this is an administration and not just a movement, but our politics that has been really wrecked today, an extension of what is an increasing politically violent country.
Violence isn't politics. Violence is something else entirely. And I wonder if you think, Chris, that we're capable of dealing with the violence at a moment where our politics is so badly broken.
I think it's going to be a real challenge, and I can give you the history of terrorism as an asymmetric tool in the modern era. Really started in the 1850s with the anarchist movement, and it was replicated because it demonstrated that getting to leaders was possible, and eventually ended with the assassination of the Tsar of Russia, Alexander III, President McKinley, and continued. And they learned from each other. Different groups learned from each other. Look at school shootings, the copycats. People understand that this is possible, and it's something that they want to do themselves. Well, in political violence, if you cannot get to, say, a political figure that has a security detail, but there's somebody equally polarizing, he's accessible. That's probably why they went after him instead of maybe somebody in government who might have a security detail. And it remains to be seen. But the other factor is polarization in American society. When the far right defines people on the left and immigrants as invaders and not fellow citizens as the enemy, really destroying society, that's problematic. And then on the flip side, people on the left are defining people on the right as the others and fascist, authoritarian, and that's how we're looking at each other. Political violence is inevitable, and my concern is if this is going to become an increasing trend, like we saw at other periods of tumultuous times in the United States.
Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button as you guys come in. Thanks for supporting the channel. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
We got it from NBC News, but it is a report from President Trump on his Truth Social media.
That is just really some unsettling news, especially based on the accounts that we've been hearing from bystanders who were there, witnesses, students who had gone to this event just 2 hours ago, coinciding with what they saw. Reports also confirmed by AP that he was shot in the neck. Very traumatic for those people that we have been hearing from. And now to get a post from President Donald Trump stating, in fact, that 31-year-old Charlie Kirk has died.
we've been seeing all afternoon. It's a sobering update because we've been seeing all afternoon leaders from the state, leaders from the political parties, even on the national level, sending their prayers, their concerns for Charlie Kirk and for Utah and the students and everybody who was involved in that. It's hard news to process on top of what everybody has already been through down there.
And we have been talking about UVU campus as well. Classes canceled today, campus closed, police saying that everybody needs to clear out to make sure that the campus is secure and safe. We do have our reporters who have been there on scene, and they've been talking to some folks there about their perspective about what they saw there at that event. Let's go to Jody Reynosa now. Jody, what can you tell us?
Well, it's a very solemn feeling right now. As reporters talked about before, it's quieted down here. The parking lots are very thin. You don't see, the stream of cars trying to make that egress, out of campus. A lot quieter than before. But we did see those SWAT sheriff big vehicles coming in here to make sure things are safe or to see what they can do, figure out what they can do. We're hearing DPS helicopters overhead. I am with a high school senior from Cedar Valley High School. Kylie Stauffer joins me, and she was here. She wasn't expecting to go see Charlie Kirk. She was actually here to support Ryder, who I spoke with earlier. But we're going to go to her and see, what was that feeling like when you heard people coming out and screaming?
It's a very surreal, scary moment, not knowing what's going on with everybody around. And it's like, where are they? That's the scariest part, not knowing where they are and wondering if you guys are safe and if, everybody else is safe.
And you happen to be here to give support to Ryder, who was taking the test, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, what is your family, your friends, is there a flurry of text messages coming in saying, are you okay?
So many text messages, are you okay? What's going on? I heard on the news. A lot coming in.
What is your feeling, though? I mean, not too common that this happens around these parts.
No, it's very scary, especially very shocked. I feel like we're all still in shock. Like, it just hasn't, set in all the way because we're all just, hearing everything as it's coming in.
And now hearing that Charlie Kirk has passed from this horrific shooting, what are your feelings?
Super sad. I don't even know what to feel at this point because it's all just happened so fast and just very sad, feel bad for his family and everybody else.
Any of your actions or your path forward in your mind, has that kind of changed, or has the trajectory changed being that this happened? I mean, you're in high school. I mean, are you thinking about, okay, precautionary measures do I need to take if I decide to go to college around here?
Yeah, it really makes you realize that, the world is very real. We're not going to be protected much longer as we're in high school, realizing that I need to look at things when I go to college like that and realize there's a world out there.
What are the drills like at Cedar Valley High School? Something like this?
I don't know, just lockdown in our classrooms. We actually had one a few years back, so just kind of staying put until we get the okay.
So you had one at school not too long ago, you said? Okay, and then now this. What is your take on everything? If you could talk to the people who can't be here right now, maybe high school students across the country, what would you tell them?
That's a loaded question. Stay safe. I don't know. Just really realize there's real things out there, and you need to take those precautions and keep yourself out of those harmless situations if possible.
Thank you so much, Kylie. All right, so a very solemn, quiet scene here. People are still in shock. They are just, trying to grapple with what's going on. But I will send it back to you.
Reynosa reporting live for us from the UVU campus, talking to folks there. Again, just getting the news moments ago. President Trump posting on Truth Social that Charlie Kirk, 31-year-old Charlie Kirk, has died.
Yeah, we just are seeing also a post on social media from Governor Cox, who says he just got off the phone with President Trump, working with the FBI and the Utah law enforcement to bring this individual to justice after this tragedy. He and his wife Abby are heartbroken. Tough news. Everyone is reeling from this because it's been such a traumatic event to happen in our state, on our campus, to expose so many young people to something like this, and we all are going to be grieving this together. Let's go.
Who's ready to
like the video, like the video. Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for subscribing. We're going to continue. Like the video as you guys come in. Prayers go out to his friends and family. Prayers go out to his friends and family. Let's continue.
Doing a Q&A with the audience members there, and that is when there was a single gunshot. That gunshot hit him in the neck. They rushed him to the hospital, and we were told for a while he was in critical condition. Obviously, they were doing their best to save his life, and as a result of the way he was hit and where he was hit, we're getting word now that he has passed away. This is a live picture right now. This is Orem, Utah Valley University. There's a big turnout 300, 500 people had shown up to hear him speak and be a part of this event. We should also tell you that we were reporting that a suspect had been taken into custody, and we'd shown an image of an alleged suspect who police believed was the shooting suspect. We can now tell you that image of that individual is not the shooting suspect. We don't have any other information at this time regarding that. But 31 years old, Charlie Kirk, a husband, a father, a big-time following. Whether you agreed with him or did not agree with him, he had a huge following. He always wanted to engage in different topics and really just encourage dialogue as a way to put aside differences or to argue differences or what have you. The host of The Charlie Kirk Show, the co-founder of Turning Point USA, ran a podcast as well, and this is Charlie Kirk, has passed away in Orem, Utah. We are going to continue to stay with this image right now. This is the university. There was a big event. It was from 9 in the morning till 4 o'clock, and Charlie Kirk had taken the stage about noon. The witnesses who were there talk about how he was answering questions. One of the questions that was asked had to do with religion. He answered that question. The second question, which was asked, had to do with mass shootings, linking that to gun violence and transgender community, something to that nature. And as he began to answer that question, he just said a couple of words. That is when witnesses say there was a single shot fired, went straight into his neck. He slumped over. He fell over. They rushed to get him to the hospital to try to save his life. All the people that were there, incredibly shocked and scared, ducked. There's lots of video because everyone was filming, so you have images from many perspectives and angles going around. We do have some witness sound right now, so why don't we get to that right now? Let's see. Okay, we are going to work on that. Obviously, reaction right now, the pure shock of it all. The witnesses we have been hearing from, they're very shaken, visibly, understandably, literally, as they speak. The panic that ensued, 500 people just took off and ran because they didn't know where the shots were being fired, if there would be more shooting. Everyone felt as though their life was in danger, so everyone took off. But as I mentioned, there's so much footage out there, and this is definitely going to be, of course, part of the investigation, especially now that we're hearing that the alleged shooter, the individual they thought was responsible for this, we're told ended up not being the suspect. So this is going to raise a lot more questions. The investigation is just going to get underway. But the big news, the big story, this moment right here, as we froze that image, that is the moment right here where someone's asking the question. A couple seconds later, he picked up that mic to answer, and that is when he was hit. Charlie Kirk passed away just a short time ago at the age of 31. It's just really a sad day. A sad day where people have come together to listen to someone speak. It was a safe environment. There was some talk about whether or not there was security present on the campus there, and there wasn't really much security. And they talk about how, it's a college campus, everyone felt safe. It wasn't supposed to be anything out of the ordinary. They do these types of events often. He goes around speaking to large audiences. This is a college campus. Majority of the people attending were college students, and then of course the locals there. So there wasn't really a heavy police presence. Some security around, but nothing out of the ordinary. So, we don't know if that would have made a difference. He was kind of an open target there, sitting there in front of that large audience under that tarp. He was accessible. People could approach him if they wished. But there you have it. 31 years old, Charlie Kirk passed away. A father of 2 young children, a boy and a girl. I believe his son just turned 1 a few months ago. So he leaves behind his family. He leaves behind his father. He leaves behind a huge community of followers, and really he'd done a lot of work to bring the youth into the conversation and really get them engaged in things that matter, things that people should think about when they vote, just talking about life and what role politics should play and whether or not you agreed with him or not. One of the things he was known for was the fact that he would engage in dialogue with people he didn't necessarily agree with, and that was kind of his thing, where he was able to just say, hey, we may not agree, but let's have a conversation. In fact, that is when Governor Gavin Newsom in March was a guest on his podcast, and it was widely viewed because it was interesting to hear from two people who may not agree on many topics coming together and discussing this. So his voice is now silenced. We do have that witness sound, so let's go to that now.
And we had a nice conversation back and forth. We disagreed, of course, and then we kind of just ended it at that with the historical evidences. He tried to hold it to the Bible a lot more in regards to archaeological evidences, which is not really what I was at. After I got done talking to him, I really couldn't exit because there's such a big crowd. So I turned around, and like 10 to 20 seconds later, after I got done talking to Charlie, I saw that he was shot in the neck and that he was squirting blood everywhere. But I was piecing things together, and it was really weird because the second guest that I talked to, before I went and asked him the question, what I was going to ask him, he was talking to him about how he was going to ask about transgenderism like that, but nothing about shootings. And this is the irony that came to me, which was like, right when he asked that, not like 5-10 seconds later, he was shot. And not only that, right after that, someone confessed to it who had no weapon, which makes me think that it was clearly a setup and that multiple people were involved. So, but prior to that, that's all I saw because everyone was squirming.
You're hearing from a witness speak. There's so many witnesses. This was a huge event. So many people were there to hear Charlie Kirk speak. So what we can tell you right now is that Charlie Kirk has passed away. He passed away in the hospital. They did their best to save his life, but they were unable to do so. The image you just saw was seconds before he was shot, a single shot to the neck, and this resulted in his death ultimately. The individual they had taken into custody was determined not to be the suspect. This right here is a live image actually of the campus there, Utah Valley University. Heavy police presence, as you can see. So the suspect is at large at this point, from what we understand. There was a commotion. They thought they had the individual, and that was not the individual in question. So this is going to be very much an active scene, dealing with the investigation, also dealing with the shock of what has happened. 31 years old, Charlie Kirk has passed away. A father, a husband, leaves behind a family. And his voice was silenced today on September 10th. Much more to come. Stay with us. The story we're continuing to follow. More to come at 5 o'clock this evening.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, you guys. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button as we bring you this information. Condolences to his friends and family. Let's get into more. Like the videos, you guys come in.
During an event at Utah Valley University, 31 years old, he was the CEO and co-founder of Turning Point USA, known for mobilizing young Republican voters. Kirk was shot in the neck earlier this afternoon. The suspect is still at large. Police say a search is underway. Utah Valley University police say they are going building to building right now to try to evacuate people who are still there. President Trump posted about Kirk on Truth Social. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Those words from President Trump. Let's go now to our CBS News national security contributor, Samantha Vinograd. And Sam, the talk about the security detail, he had some people around it, but no metal detectors, nothing like that. That's something that's most certainly going to be looked at going forward.
Well, Maurice, this is just a devastating development, and certainly there will be an after action of what security protocols could have been in place to try to prevent this horrific incident. But right now, there's certainly a heavy focus on how to apprehend whomever was responsible for this terrible incident. We don't yet know if law enforcement authorities have actually identified a suspect, if they've been able to ascertain whom in the crowd was responsible for shooting Charlie Kirk. So the first order of business is certainly to identify a suspect. They can do that through eyewitness accounts, through social media, through videos from the scene, and other uses of advanced technology. Once they do identify who was responsible for this incident, they will certainly be working to locate the individuals through warrants at the individual's property, reviewing their social media, talking to friends and family, and then, if necessary, employing a range of federal, state, and local law enforcement assets to try to track the individual if that individual is at large. What we don't yet know is whether there's still ongoing threat to the public. If a suspect has not been identified and has not been apprehended, Maurice, that may in fact be the case.
Sam, anything from the video we have seen, anything tell you or give you any clue as to the distance of the shooter? Because initially the local authorities there thought they had him, or whoever it was, from some 200 feet away, I believe it was. I looked at it, untrained eye, I thought it was maybe from close range. What do you make of it?
I think it's a little hard to tell. It certainly doesn't look like the individual was in the first few rows in the crowd that you're seeing on your monitor right now. And various witnesses have indicated that it sounded like it was more of a rifle rather than a pistol. But I would imagine that law enforcement, federal, state, and local, again, the FBI and other parts of federal government are likely involved at this point, are likely reviewing video from the event itself and trying to ascertain where the shot came from. There's advanced technology that they can use to trace the path of the bullet that fatally struck Mr. Kirk, and then from there to try to capture footage to identify the suspect.
Okay, Sam Vinograd, thank you for that. Our senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe joined us now. Reaction is pouring in from across the spectrum, Ed.
It is, Maurice, and importantly, it's pouring in from across both political parties. Obviously, the president, the vice president, and others in the Trump administration, from the moment the reports first surfaced asking for prayers, and now recalling their late friend and fellow conservative activist and leader. But we've also notably seen Democrats. We heard Chris Van Cleave there mention the governor of Arizona, Katie Hobbs. California Governor Gavin Newsom was one of the first notable Democrats to weigh in on this, saying that the attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible in the United States of America. We must reject political violence in every form. And what's notable about Newsom weighing in is the fact that earlier this year, as he launched his own podcast, the governor invited Kirk on to discuss essentially how Kirk had successfully done it for years for Republicans, and then what it was perhaps that Democrats could learn in their engagement digitally and in events like this to reach younger voters. As anyone may recall from last year, the big takeaway was that the Republican Party, the Trump campaign, quite effectively engaged and galvanized younger, more digitally focused voters to their side. And the Democratic Party ever since has been trying to sort out how to do it. Well, Kirk was one of those that had been doing it for several years, and Newsom in that case at least wanted to get to know him. And they had a rather meaty and respectful dialogue about their differences, which is what Kirk was trying to do today here in Utah. We also heard from the House Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries. Political violence is never acceptable. My thoughts and prayers are with Charlie Kirk and his family. And then Gabby Giffords, of course, the congresswoman who survived an assassination attempt, had said she was horrified, and political disagreements are always allowed, but we must never allow America to become a country that confronts those disagreements with violence. There was a short time ago, Maurice, a moment of silence held on the floor of the House of Representatives. Speaker Johnson asked colleagues to rise and do so. Sounds like there may have been some in the chamber, unclear who and where, who tried to interrupt that silence. I don't know if we can play this.
For Charlie Kirk and his family.
So that was earlier in the House chamber. Speaker Johnson very quickly ran there to draw attention to it and have members of both parties stand there at least momentarily in honor of Kirk. This was before word officially came that he had died. So it shows you very quickly how quickly he galvanized people on both sides of the aisle to speak out, not only to denounce the violence, but to acknowledge the influence that Charlie Kirk had.
Okay, Ed O'Keefe, thank you so much. Let's go to Justice Correspondent Scott McFarland now. Scott, first we were told they have a suspect, and now we're told they had the wrong guy.
Yeah, we've been blanketing our FBI contacts with questions about this over the last few minutes because there is a lack of clarity over what is the status of any manhunt for whoever pulled the trigger today. The Utah Valley University statement issued mid-afternoon was that a suspect was in custody. About 20 minutes later, they walked that back, and the FBI, we know, is on the ground at the site of this shooting. They've given no updates on whether they are pursuing somebody, have somebody, or if somebody is even alive who's involved with this shooting. The Utah Valley University police are helping to respond to this, the local police. And we know, according to folks at the university who've spoken with CBS News, they're going door to door now on campus to help evacuate anybody who's there. They want everybody off this campus. And if you are doing a door-to-door evacuation, if you are offering to come get people and walk them off the campus, that's indicative of a kinetic threat, of something that is not fully settled at this point. But we're going to keep tapping into FBI sources here to get some sense of what's going on. But I'll tell you, it is unorthodox now. We are 2 hours and about 20 minutes since the shooting, and we do not have an update from law enforcement if they have somebody either in their sights or in handcuffs.
door-to-door, Scott, that suggests a dicey situation there. And to Utah Valley University, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Right now, former Republican National Committee Chair Michael Whatley joins us. Mr. Whatley, you knew Charlie Kirk. Our condolences for sure. What can you tell us about him, and what are your thoughts right now?
Well, my thoughts are with his family, and obviously, want to offer our prayers for me and Suzanne both. Charlie was a friend. Charlie was a father. Charlie was a husband. Charlie, every time that I met him, he had a very intense smile on his face. He was a happy warrior, and he's a guy who fought for what he believed in, and he believed in America, and he believed in his family. And I think this is going to leave a big hole in America, really. That when we see this kind of a senseless tragedy, we cannot allow this to take place in America anymore. We really need to do everything we can to kind of prevent these political fights from escalating to violence like this.
Can we talk about that a little bit, sir? Because, everybody's wondering now, what happened? How did we get to this point where now this is almost, I don't want to say not surprising, but not expected, but people are still sort of reacting like, I knew something like this would happen. How did we get here?
Well, it's absolutely tragic, is what it is. I think that when we think about President Trump being shot earlier this summer, two different attempts on his life, and it's really easy, in the moment to to say it's the other side. But the fact is that there is no place in America for this type of political violence whatsoever. The fact is that a husband and a father has been taken from us way too early in his life.
A little more about what type of father and husband and man Charlie Kirk was. Hard to believe we're talking about him in the past tense right now, but someone who was a provocateur, who did it with a certain amount of joy, right?
Well, look, I think that he approached every day with a certain amount of joy, and it was great to be able to work with him, to do events with him, to spend time with him. He was a very intense, very loyal person. He was very demanding, but in a good way. And I think that he brought a passion to politics. He brought a passion to what he did with Turning Point. I think that's unbelievably commendable. And like I said, it will be a big hole in certainly my world and everybody else's world that had a chance to know Charlie.
Okay, thank you so much, former RNC Chair Michael Whatley. We appreciate your remembrances there. Reaction coming in from Governor Wes Moore, Democrat of Maryland, condemned in strongest possible terms the attack. You see this kind of reaction from Republicans as well. Tom Tillis, the senator, praying for Charlie Kirk. Political violence has no place in our society. To bring in our chief Washington analyst, Robert Costa. You're hearing the condemnations far and wide, yet here we are once again, Bob.
Here we are once again, the specter of violence continuing to hover over the United States and our political culture. You see leaders in both parties expressing horror at what is unfolding here on a college campus today, a time when so many students are going back to school, starting their classes in September. It's the carnage of violence at a political leader. And this country has seen it many times before. You think about President Lincoln, you think about the shots fired on President Reagan, of course, President Kennedy being gunned down in 1963, and other political figures have been shot. You think about George Wallace running for president being shot. He survived. Charlie Kirk, at such a young age, being gunned down, assassinated at a political event. This is something that is bracing for so many. Yes, there is a political debate that's often very testing in this country, but so often behind the scenes, most people I cover see the dignity in the other person across the way. Violence is not part of the American system. It's something that has scarred America's history, but it's not part of how we have dialogue. And Charlie Kirk, whether you are a defender of his, an advocate, an ally, a friend, or a critic, he is someone who was in the arena. And so many people, whether they're activists like Charlie Kirk, or media figures, or they're political figures and leaders who are in elected office, they believe that by going in the arena, they may be bruised ideologically, they may be bruised when it comes to their rhetoric, but they won't necessarily have to face this sort of violence. But we've seen the attempted assassination of lawmakers like Steve Scalise within the past decade or so. Of course, President Trump facing his own assassination attempts, Gabby Giffords, the former member of Congress. Both parties have dealt with this, and now today, a real rising star dead at such a young age.
Yeah, for sure, Bob. And what it means for our politics going forward, that will be chewed over as we move forward here. To recap for you, the conservative activist Charlie Kirk has died after being shot in the neck during an event at Utah Valley University. A search for the suspect is underway, and a motive is still unknown. Our coverage will continue on CBS News 24/7, your local news, and tonight on the CBS Evening News. This has been a CBS News Special Report. I'm Maurice Dubois.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Are you surprised that the person got away? Was that a distraction to let the original person get away? Like the video as you guys come in. Are you guys surprised that the original alleged person got away? Was there several people that were allegedly working together? Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here, everyone. Very serious situation. What's really going on with the world? Is this media distraction? Like the video. Like the video.
Now, in May, Charlie Kirk was in San Francisco. He was at San Francisco State as part of his American Comeback Tour. That's where he was there in Utah. He was visiting colleges all across the country. And Cron 4's Rob Nesbitt was there when Kirk came to San Francisco. He's going to continue our coverage now from the newsroom. And we wanted to hear from you, Rob, since we're seeing all this video of what this event is like at that college campus in Utah. Was it similar to what you saw at San Francisco State?
Very similar, Justine. Charlie Kirk, he was making stops at different colleges. He came to SF State. And if you're wondering who he basically was a very political person who tried to drum up folks to get support of the Republican Party. When he does these events at college campuses, what he would do is he would be under his tent, an awning that said, "Prove me wrong." He wanted folks to come up to the microphone and debate with him, ask him questions. That's exactly what he did at SF State, and it's what he did today in Utah. The exact same setting, and it gets very
RIP to his friends and family. Let's continue. All of the news is talking about it. So why would you say the news is talking about it? Why would you say I'm not supposed to cover it? Go to your news channel and say that same thing. People are so weird. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Heated. People go up and there's a mix of people who support him and there are a mix of people who are against him. And so they go up to the microphone and they talk about things such as abortion, Trump, trans people in sports. And there's a real heated debate that goes back and forth. And then Kirk would post the videos of the debates on his social media. Has a huge following. If you go to TikTok, he has more than 3 million followers. You go to Instagram, millions more. So a lot of people paid attention. He was very popular, especially among young men, Justine.
Now is when he was here in San Francisco. That's not video from Utah. The video that we're looking at now is from when he was in San Francisco. And I'm sort of struck by how open it is, how public it is. We see some security guards there. Kirk is just sitting there, and he really wants to engage there with the people that are coming, probably for and against him as part of this Prove Me Wrong. And he's just sitting under that tent. Did you notice any security when you were there? Can you describe the atmosphere of what that was like?
It actually surprised me, Justine, how there were only 4 to 5, I would say, that get set up right around the tent where he speaks. When I looked at the videos in Utah, it was the same thing that I saw at SF State, where there are 4 in black shirts that are his own security guards to protect him if people might rush the stage or try to approach him. But for the most part, at SF State, there were campus security that were at entrances. That's the video that you're seeing now of him speaking at SF State. So there were college security as well as SF police that were kind of on site. But what I'm hearing from eyewitnesses that were in Utah was that was not the case, that people noticed how there was a lack of campus security. And another thing that I was struck by was in Utah, the same thing as SF State, an outdoor setting with several vantage points. So it's not an indoor coliseum or an indoor auditorium where you don't have access if you don't have a ticket. Essentially, at SF State, you can see the fence there. If you didn't have a ticket to get in, you could stand at the perimeter, see, hear. It was kind of an athletic field from what you can notice now where the folks gathered. And it looked like in Utah, from what I saw from videos, it was another outdoor setting, several windows, balconies, vantage points. A lot of the videos that are being posted on social media of the event in Utah actually are from those upper balconies where essentially anyone could go, Justine, and see this event for themselves.
So you do need some sort of ticket to get into this event. And while you were there, did you notice protesters? Could you tell if there are more people that were there for or against him?
So tickets, to answer that question, yes. And at SF State, it was a ticketed event. I went in as a reporter in the same line that students or the public went into. I was struck by how most of the organizers at the entrances and people that were controlling the crowds coming in and out were clearly college students. So that was kind of concerning of how young they were. But you did need a ticket to get in, and they were not allowing bags at SF State for his event here. You actually had to check a bag. You couldn't take it inside. Eyewitnesses talking in Utah have said that they noticed no metal detectors and that no one even checked to see if they had a ticket or not. So they were able, it sounds like, to walk right into the event that happened today.
And you mentioned there was some security there, but that was right in front of Kirk as he's under this tent. That's sort of to protect him from people who may try to, physically approach him from an arm's distance. You didn't notice security, like snipers on top of buildings or anything like that?
No snipers to that point, but police officers were at entrances and exits at SF State so that you couldn't kind of come and go or try to get into an exit if you didn't have a ticket.
Can you describe like the demographics of the crowd at all? I know it's on a college campus, so maybe it's skewing a little bit younger, but what were these people like?
Yes, it was a younger crowd. Kirk was very popular among young men, specifically Republicans. They kind of loved the debate style that he had. Everyone had a cell phone up to kind of have their own moments, see, if they could catch a viral video for themselves. So definitely a younger crowd that shows up to support him. And also, from what you can see there were younger crowds in the perimeters that were beating drums, playing loud music, disruptors, people who were protesting him being on campus.
Well, Robert, we're glad that you could join us here to provide some perspective on our break.
So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe. There's about 92 people in the building. Please hit subscribe. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Prayers go out to the friends and family. Let me know how you feel in the comments. Many people have followed what he spoke about, what he covered. Some are saying different things in the comments. So your opinion is your opinion. We do have to report on it. All the news is reporting on it. Many people had talked about what had occurred, and then it was stated that he had passed. So, copyright disclaimer, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. For being here, thanks for supporting the channel. There's about 72 people in the building. Even if all 72 hit subscribe, that'll be a great day for me. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. Goodbye, everyone. Be safe. Also, be aware of your surroundings. Thanks for being here, everyone. Condolences to friends and families and the people that loved him. Many people have their own thoughts and feelings. No one wants anyone to go out like this. Do you feel that any speakers that have events, should they have protective, you know how when you go into stores, do you think that they should have a protective barrier around them as they go out to different events and colleges if there's not security there and if there's no detectors? Let me know in the comments how y'all feel about how he was protected from what did transpire. Should all of them make sure they have protection of different sorts from this point on? A lot of them want to get their message out. I'm hearing that he was pretty well known. He is a father. So my prayers go out. Thanks for being here, everyone. Goodbye. Be